let's go over exactly how to farm this free-to-play Android 17 in Hacchan and how to Extreme Z Awaken them. To start off with, you'll need to go to their special story event, which is going to be in the start tab here. Then you go to event, and then you'll go to the story tab over here. As soon as it loads, go right here, and you'll scroll down until you see this one right here, on the verge of crisis to androids. And so we're going to go ahead and hit the information tab here and see what the stages bring to us. So there's only 2 stages to farm. Stage 1 is where you're going to farm the actual unit itself, and you will need at least 14 copies to fully max out his super attack level and unlock his full hidden potential system. And then in stage 2, you will need to farm his Dokkan awakening medals, so you can Dokkan awaken them after they get Z awakened. And something else to note as well, you want to use joined forces category units on your team to increase the chances of you obtaining bonus rewards at the end of each of your runs. And so this is the unit you're going to be farming in his SSR rarity. It's just going to be the Hacchan or the 8 or Android 8. And then you will Z awaken him into a UR with these Dokkan awakening medals. And then the medal you farm in stage 2, you will need 20 of those right there to Dokkan awaken him into the TUR rarity that is named Android 17 and Hacchan, or Hacchan and Android 17. And then in order to Extreme Z awaken them, you will go to the Extreme Z area for Special Characters Edition, and let me show you exactly where that is in game. It's in the challenge tab here, and then you'll scroll down and it's going to be this Extreme Z area, Special Characters Edition, and then when you go into it, it's going to be stage 7. So if you hit the information tab here, you can look at all the different stages to see exactly who's going to be Extreme Z Awakened, and also the characters that are required to run that stage. So in stage 7, you are required to have this Hacchan and Android 17 in their Dokkan Awakened rarity, their TUR rarity, in order to access their stage to get the medals to Extreme Z Awaken them. And then these are the rest of the characters that you can use on the team as long as you have that Hacchan and Android 17 on your team. So any combination of that with the Hacchan and Android 17 will work for your team to access and run the stage. And let me show you real quick just what team I used in order to get past these stages or these difficulties in order to farm up their Extreme Z Awakening medals. As my leader, I used this 8-bit Goku, or Dokkan Butoden, I can't ever say that. Dokkan Butoden Goku right here. He leads Goku's family category or super class, key +4, and HP and attack and defense +44%. It may not seem like a lot, but it is actually enough for this event. So keep that in mind, that these Extreme Z areas are not too difficult, and they're not made to be very difficult. This is actually a fairly decent leader skill that you can use. And the reason why I did it is because he leads super class. So I can use any super class unit I want under this leader skill, which is less restrictive. And then for the units I put on the team, I put this Grandpa Gohan and Pan GT. And keep in mind, these are all free-to-play units that I'm showing you. And the reason why I picked them and also the Outstanding Performance Great Saiyaman and Videl are because they are STR, so they're going to be type advantage in this event because the Hacchan and Android 17 is a physical unit. And then the next unit I put on the team is obviously the Hacchan and Android 17 because they are required to access their Extreme Z area stage. And then the second to last unit is this little Great Saiyaman of Mystery, Trunks Kid Great Saiyaman. Pretty good unit. He raises defense and stacks it infinitely, so it's not a too terribly long event, but it can be somewhat useful for that. And then also this Candy Vegito right here, tiniest top-notch hero. And the reason why I use this Candy Vegito is because he does raise attack and defense infinitely, which once again is not too terribly useful in this kind of event because it's not too long, but it can help in some cases because the enemy really doesn't, or the Hacchan and Android 17 as the enemy doesn't really hit that hard in the first place. So raising some attack and defense infinitely is not a bad thing. But the thing is, when this unit gets Extreme Z Awakened, they have a great chance of evading enemies' attacks. So this Candy Vegito does dodge a lot. So if you're in a pinch and need to dodge a lot, slot, you can put this Candy Vegito in front of a slot where you know Hacchan and Android 17 is attacking the most, so that you can get the most out of this unit. So let's go ahead and hop into the event with this team just to show you and prove to you that I did actually beat this event with this team. And we'll go ahead and hit the super difficulty here, since it is the hardest difficulty. And if I can beat the hardest difficulty with this team, you can definitely beat the lower tier difficulty as well. So let's get started here. I mean, I already Extreme Z Awakened the character. I just haven't fully leveled them up yet because I need to level up a dud copy to level 5 so that I don't have to use any Elder Kais or Grand Kais to level up their super attack from level 10 to 15. By the way, you should do that too. If you don't want to use any Elder Kais or Grand Kais, you will want to farm an extra 5 copies on top of the 14 that you need to level up their super attack to level 10 and unlock their full hidden potential system. If you do not want to use any Elder Kais or Grand Kais to level up their super attack, which I would recommend, because once again, and I will always say this in my videos, Grand Kais and Elder Kais are some of the most precious resources in this game because they are very, very hard to come by. They are not a free-to-play friendly resource. You want to take every advantage you can with free-to-play units to put yourself in a position where you do not have to use Grand Kais or Elder Kais if you can help it. There's very, very few instances where I'll say go ahead and use Elder Kais on the free-to-play unit, because sometimes the drop rates for some free-to-play units are just absolutely atrocious and it would take forever to grind, which, you know, essentially that's being somewhat lazy because you can still grind them. But you know, there's times when you're like, you know what, this drop rate for these units are pretty terrible, so I'm gonna use Kais. I've done that myself, so don't be ashamed if you do. But you know, once again, you want to take every advantage you can with free-to-play units to not use Elder Kais and use the resources that you have from their event to fully level up their super attack when they get easy aid. So, but this event's pretty easy, it's not too hard. See, Grandpa Gohan and Pan GT right there just completely annihilated the Hacchan in 17, and I totally did that while talking to you guys, and I suck at multitasking. So if I can do that while talking to you guys with this team, the team's good enough to just, you know, completely obliterate this Hacchan in 17 Extreme Z area stage and event. And once you Extreme Z Awaken this Hacchan and Android 17, we're mostly going to focus on their super attack and passive skill, and off of that I will recommend how you should build their hidden potential system. So they raise attack for 1 turn and cause supreme damage with a high chance to stun the enemy. So already with that super attack effect, I can tell you right now, you're probably going to want to put as many additionals into them as possible, which they are a physical unit, so they have additional built into their hidden potential system inherently. So once you fully level up their additional attack, you should have 20 additional and then 6 points in either dodge or critical hit. But let's go ahead and read the rest of their passive skill to know exactly where you want to put those points. Attack and defense plus 125%, plus an additional attack and defense plus 80%, chance of performing a critical hit plus 25%, and reduces damage received by 25% when HP is 80% or less. So at 80% or less, they have damage reduction. And then hold up, so they perform a critical hit as well. So already looking at that, you're probably going to want to put dodge into them anyway. So at that point, you'd have 6 dodge and then 20 additional. But let's go ahead and read on. Guards all attacks for 8 turns from start of turn, plus an additional attack and defense plus 80%, and launches an additional attack that has a medium chance of becoming a super attack. A super attack for 8 turns after receiving an attack, and recovers HP with candy. So after reading that, they have a high chance to stun. They already have built-in crit chance in their passive. So this is definitely a utility type unit that's you're not going to want to do damage with them. You're going to want to have them tank and take hits and have utilities. So you definitely want to put 20 additional attack for this high chance to stun to proc more often in scenarios such as Super Battle Road, Extreme Super Battle Road, wherever you can use them in those scenarios. And then with damage reduction and guarding all attacks for 8 turns from the start of turn, if you happen to get past the 8th turn, you'll probably want them to dodge. So putting the remaining points into dodge instead of crit would be my recommendation. But let me know down in the comments below what you guys think about that hidden potential system recommendation, and maybe y'all built them differently. I would like to know that as well down in the comments below, because once again, my recommendations are literally just recommendations. I want you guys to play the game how you want to play, because you need to enjoy the game for you, not for anybody else.